More than 50% of employees eventually have a career derailment when they get demoted or fired, or their careers flatline. They derail due to lack of self-awareness, an inability to fix their blind spots, or a misalignment with corporate culture. Executive Carter Cast illustrates employee behavioral problems in 5 archetypes. Cast has fun covering the wrong stuff and listing each type's potential reform. He shows you how to leverage the skills your firm needs, understand your motivation, and become your own advocate. A career derailment occurs when strong performers get fired, demoted, or otherwise stall. More than half of all employees get fired or demoted at some point, or face a career flatline. Derailment can happen for various reasons, but the root cause is usually that an employee's individual values don't align with corporate values. However, derailment can also spring from more than just a lack of alignment, like a lack of skills or knowledge. Employees can make up skill and knowledge deficits, but in some cases, an employee's personality might not be a good workplace fit. Before derailing, many employees are productive and successful, but they eventually stumble because they remain unaware of their troublesome traits, so they don't improve. Avoid derailment by recognizing whether you fit one of 5 career archetypes and making the necessary changes. Be aware of 5 archetypes that exist in all organizations and cut across gender, job descriptions, ethnicity, and seniority lines. Companies fail when their leaders don't conduct the uncomfortable conversations necessary to keep these high performers from falling off the rails. The first archetype is arrogant Captain Fantastic, who is egocentric and doesn't listen. Captain Fantastics will crush you on their way to the corner office. They have huge egos and are bad at listening to other people. Managers love Captain Fantastics when the results are strong. But if their performance falters, the captains are the first to go. Captain Fantastics share these traits. They're arrogant and don't acknowledge others' input. They're excessively ambitious. They focus on their careers at the expense of their colleagues. They're defensive, don't listen, and can't take constructive criticism. They're insensitive and lack empathy. They have poor stress management skills and lack composure, and they don't trust other people's intentions. Captain Fantastic syndrome is the #1 reason for career derailment, but your firm can rehabilitate its Captain Fantastic. Human Resources should do a 360-degree feedback review in which peers, managers, and subordinates evaluate the captain. Have him or her take a personality inventory test and invest in career coaching to learn to understand and fix problematic behaviors. Captains should discover and examine their strongest traits, the very characteristics that can become liabilities. They must work on their listening skills and learn to remain calm in stressful situations. Second, the solo flyer is a strong performer individually, but micromanages others. Solo flyers often fail in supervisory positions because they micromanage, hire poorly, communicate badly, and don't develop talent within their teams. Their strong, Lone Ranger work ethic doesn't necessarily translate into managerial ability. You may be a solo flyer if you are impatient and swoop in to save the day, instead of letting employees learn to solve their own problems. Have team members who don't know the company's top priority goals and who say you don't resolve issues or resolve them slowly. Have team members who say you don't foster their professional development and you aren't interested in your team members' lives beyond their jobs. Solo flyers have a hard time finding the right balance as managers because they are such strong performers, they're not good at delegating. They don't take the time to build thorough job descriptions, so they either hire a bad fit too quickly or aren't able to find employees to fill skill gaps. Like Captain Fantastics, solo flyers may have poor listening skills. To improve, they must listen more and talk less. They should get to know their employees and find out what motivates them individually, so they can become their biggest advocates. They should invest in their employees' professional development. At least 70% of skill development comes from on-the-job training and stretch assignments. Solo flyers also should become more aware of their team members' cultural norms and sensitivities. Managers must learn to be clear with their employees and to address interpersonal conflicts. Problems will not go away by themselves. role-playing with a career coach, or reading books such as Crucial Conversations and The Power of a Positive No can build a solo flyer's confidence in managing difficult people or situations. Follow the 3 E's of making decisions: engagement, explanation, and expectations. Engage with your subordinates when you're making a decision. Explain your decision and set expectations for the decision's outcomes. To reduce bias, ask open-ended questions and follow up on them. Replay what you've heard to confirm that you understand it. Understand that good managers delegate and model appropriate behavior for their teams. They must lead by example, be open to constructive criticism, be deliberate in their communications, and boost their managerial style depending on the situation. Solo flyers should be forthright with their team members, especially about problems, so they earn their trust and motivate them to meet expectations. The third archetype, version 1.0, is stuck in the past and can't adapt and change. You might be a version 1.0 if you resist change, don't look for new opportunities to expand your skills, don't understand the latest technology, and can't accept or admit your mistakes or receive constructive criticism. Version 1.0 suffer career derailment because they are promoted or switched over to a new assignment with different criteria for success, lost at sea when their boss or mentor leaves their company, afraid of or resistant to business changes, including reorganizations and shifts in strategy, and not curious about change but profoundly attached to the status quo. According to leadership coaches David Dotlick and Peter Cairo, the authors of Why CEOs Fail, being too cautious and spending too much time researching a problem rather than making hard decisions are common problems for CEOs and other executives. Inability to adapt is a major trait of this archetype. Fortunately, version 1.0 managers can improve. To do so, they should increase their learning agility and be willing and able to learn from experience. People who seek out diverse experiences and learning opportunities are not afraid of being seen as weak or dependent. Work on being flexible during a career transition, such as a promotion or new assignment. Devote time to learning and leveraging new skills. Ask what you've learned this week and how you can push yourself to do more outside of your comfort zone. Fight the urge to be perfect, expand your base, and find a mentor. The fourth archetype, a one-trick pony, excels at a single skill. This career archetype is overly reliant on a single signature skill. One-trick ponies often experience career derailment because they can't see the big picture, don't broaden their horizons, can't identify or prioritize what drives performance, get overwhelmed by complexity, or have a skill gap. You might be a one-trick pony if you approach every problem from the same perspective and in the same way. Executives complain that one-trick ponies aren't sufficiently strategic, which is code for not understanding their company's bigger context, being too technical, or not grasping how their organization operates. They may need to take a lateral position so they can come to understand a different aspect of the business. These managers can become more strategic by doing a 5 C's analysis, covering category, competition, customers, consumers, and the company itself. Category refers to different factors that change an industry, such as market forces, technology, the influence of certain buyers and sellers, key constituents, and more. Competition includes direct competitors and indirect competition, such as how consumers would be spending money if they didn't buy your offering. The last 3 C's refer to how everything is going with your customers, consumers, and the company itself. One-trick ponies can develop new tricks by closing the gaps in their skills, seeking new opportunities, reading trade journals and related newspapers, spending time away from their desk and in the field, and meeting with consultants or other experts. Finally, whirling dervishes are people pleasers and poor time managers. Whirling dervishes are creative and spirited, but abstract. Their infectious enthusiasm enables them to sell others on their ideas, but implementation is a problem. Career derailment happens to dervishes because they have poor planning and task management skills. They're people pleasers who can't say no, and they underestimate the time it takes to complete their projects. You might be a whirling dervish if your boss, coworkers, or customers say you don't deliver on time, have poor organizational skills, don't delegate, aren't sure of your company's goals, and are easily sidetracked by email or social media. Whirling dervishes can reform if their boss sets clear expectations about their job performance. Whirling dervishes often don't understand the sequence of steps they must follow to finish a project on time, so pair them with someone who understands your organization's workflow from start to finish. Plan to help them prioritize the elements of their work. For example, have them divide their day into blocks of time to help them stay on task. Dervishes must learn to decline invitations. When they say no to one thing, they're saying yes to something else. They must learn to delegate, a skill that eludes the other archetypes as well. The common theme that connects all 5 archetypes is a lack of self-awareness and self-reflection. Having the right stuff means identifying and providing the skills your company needs. Why do some people derail while others don't? A person's IQ accounts for only 25% of his or her job success. People with the right stuff become leaders because they're good at what their companies need. They take initiative, develop emotional intelligence, EQ, and have perseverance and drive. High performers have a genuine desire to learn and improve their skills. They develop their EQ and listen more than they speak. The best performers have drive. They want to work at companies that measure their performance, so they can judge how they stack up. They are results-oriented and find their work itself more inspiring than external motivators such as money or power. To advance in your career, understand your motives. 5 fundamentals motivate most people: achievement, affiliation, power, autonomy, and purpose. Contemplate what motivates you so you can set the right direction for yourself. If achievement motivates you, you'll prefer working for organizations with clear performance standards, so you can gauge your progress and set your own goals. If affiliation motivates you, you like being part of a team and working with others. You are sensitive to their needs and good at boosting morale. You can be personally power-motivated or institutionally power-motivated. If you seek personal power, you want status and recognition. If you're institutionally powered, you want to lead teams to fulfill your company's goals. If autonomy motivates you, you prefer to direct your own work. If purpose motivates you, you want to be part of a movement that is bigger than yourself. Purpose-driven individuals want to work for organizations with missions that align with their personal values. Most people have more than one motivation. Mark Bleacher, Senior Vice President of Digital Gaming and Corporate Development at Hasbro, says employees derail when they're not a good fit for their corporate culture, or when their roles shift into responsibilities that aren't suited for their strengths. To find a job that's the right fit, consider your passions or interests, skills, industry characteristics, corporate culture, work-life balance, and personal vulnerabilities. Does your current position fit your capabilities? If not, are you willing to learn? Consider your strengths and weaknesses. Ask if you need to transform your current approach or find a job that is a better fit for harnessing your strengths while downplaying your weaknesses.